Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude at BeyondMystic, and welcome to this deep woo-woo episode. Tarot reading by Janine. And of course, you can find Janine here at Sending Ravens and also at Tarot by Janine here on YouTube. Janine, welcome back to the show.
Hey, how you doing, Jean-Claude?
It's been a tough day. I have to be honest. Been a tough day. Been a tough day. We can get into that, and I'm happy to share with the audience. But it's been a tough day. How was yours?
Well, my day was a little odd, just a bit odd, but it's really smoky here, and apparently it's coming from Montana. There's some fires, but it's literally like it feels like it's in our backyard. It's so smoky, and so that's a bit weird. And the whole day felt a bit weird, and I felt disconnected, kind of like what you were saying you felt like last night.
Yeah. Well, it started, of course. Yeah, let me bring that up for the audience who maybe don't know what we're talking about. Janine and I interviewed Tamara last night. And for the most part, this is, okay, not for the most part, for all of it, this is an absolutely amazing episode. And if you go read the comments, I've never once in the history of my channel had so many positive comments on one episode. And so profound comments from the audience, both on Janine's channel, we were simulcasting, and on mine. Yeah. Absolutely amazing show, guys. So if you haven't seen that, please do go and watch that episode and share it far and wide, because a lot was happening in that episode, both on the surface and deep, deep, deep below the surface as well. And I think this is where I emotionally got caught last night. So there was one question at one point where Tamara had just explained a little bit how she got into doing this work, and she talked about people in Hollywood and all that stuff. And as she was saying that, I kept getting this screaming voice in my ear to ask the question how she was connected to those rings with the red thing on it. And anyways, when that came out, it struck me, it struck you, and of course I've never seen you in tears like that on my show either. So we were both like taken aback, and throughout the episode, it's like something was pulling me out, and then I would come back in and I would realize, oh, I'm in a live show. It was so weird. And so I was getting all of these weird flashbacks where I was being like jumped from time to time. And anyways, it was hard for me to manage the show yesterday. On top of that, we had this weird delay. It was just impossible as a moderator to do the show correctly. But at any rate, when I did go to bed last night, you and I talked briefly before I went to bed, and I was really emotional. You said some things to me as well, and I just thought, wow, we are more connected than we know, and the audience members are more connected than they know also, perhaps, to this group, this community, to this fight that we're in now. And it struck me how absolutely profound that was last night. I always knew, but last night I really got it. And so there was a part of that in me personally as well, and my relationship with you, my relationship with Tamara, and also, I don't know. You told me nice words, and I won't repeat those, but I just felt very emotional when I went to bed last night, and it stuck with me all day today. And I had some weird people emailing me about bullshit today, which I just didn't have the patience for. You know how it goes. So anyways, do you want to maybe recap a little bit of that, what I'm talking, what you feel maybe is important to share with the audience here, whatever you want. You can also ask me questions, and if I feel to share, I'll share also.
Okay. Also, there's a fly buzzing around. It's really getting on my nerves.
Here? Or
yeah, in my place. So if you see me batting at something.
Okay. And
I'm not a clone, so... Right, you know that whole
right
on you're a clone. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm a real person. Yeah, that was a really intense show. It felt like we dropped into another lifetime, Tamara and I, and then it kind of went deeper, and it felt like you might have been involved in that lifetime by the time the show was over, but we didn't talk about that on screen. That came up later, and even people were commenting in the comments. Somebody had a dream about you being involved, and if people watch the video, they'll know what we're talking about. But yeah, there was some. I believe everybody on the earth plane right now has a karmic tie, and anybody who's definitely in the truth or likely's been used and abused very literally by the dark cult, SRA programming, and monarch programming, and 3 letters of the alphabet kind of stuff. They've been up to. All of those are arms of what I call the dark cult, which what I really mean by that, which we can't say those words. But there's a couple of names of those groups we're talking about. And there may be more than one bad guys group, but I think they kind of all stem from what I refer to as the dark cult.
Yeah.
So yeah, it feels like we've had some lifetimes together for sure. And Tamara and I, that was the first time we'd actually been on screen together, and all we ever did was there was a few emails exchanged, very short ones to get this on, the show going.
Yeah.
But I'd never actually met her, obviously, in person, and certainly not in any other way on a Zoom call or anything. Or you yourself, hey?
Yeah, first time, yeah.
Yeah. So it was just really intense, because I feel like we might deeply know each other from a traumatized couple of lifetimes. And yeah, it's like, whoa. So I felt a little weird last night too, but in a good kind of good. I felt really loving and connected. But today I felt a little disconnected. Just maybe just more things are being worked out on a deep level from that show, because it dug up a lot of deep stuff, I think.
Well, what struck me last night too were some of your words towards me after the show when you and I were talking alone, and I realized how much this relationship means to me also, and means to you. And I think that was very profound also. So like, I always knew it, but to hear you say some of those words, like, you really struck me. I'm gonna cry. It really impacted me, Janine.
Okay.
And, I understand now more than ever why we're supporting each other in this lifetime too. Like it all came back and rushing back, and some of those feelings of maybe those past lives where we were trying to help each other out of very difficult situations. And we do that now in a different way. But I mean, it was just quite fascinating. And the one thing you and Tamara said about having to swim through this like dark, mucky sewage kind of water, that struck me as well, because that is one of my recurring dreams, and Sarah knows this dream full well. And it's just very, very hard, arduous, scared for your life, like all those feelings in that dream that I have. When you said the words, like it all came rushing back. So it was hard. Like, again, it was hard for me to manage the show and be the human that I am, and having the emotions too. And after you spoke, I'm like, oh yeah, and I forgot to tell you. Usually when I cross the river, or I'm finally at where I'm supposed to be, I'm always welcomed by these 3 Mayan-looking ladies who typically stitch me up, put me back together and all that. Anyways, that came back to me as well. And again, that's very emotional, because I believe I've met one of those women in New Mexico 2 years ago. So she's reincarnated as one of those 3 in my reoccurring dream. So anyways, I'm sharing this with you guys just to let you know, like, Janine and I are human. We do these shows, but we're very much in this with you. And I think that maybe an episode a week ago, I think I titled it that way. When we send out the notifications, I said, yeah, we're in this with you. We're living this every day, whether it's Janine with her kids, me with my kids, Sarah with her work. Like we're all in this, and it's not easy. And so I want to say a big thank you to you, Janine. A big thank you to Tamara, and of course a big thank you to the audience for being with us and supporting us the way they do, because without that, I mean, it wouldn't be worth living or fighting for. And that's exactly what we're fighting for, this community. So
yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So now let's get to business. Where do I start? Let's start with Trudeau's announcement today.
Yeah.
So, of course, here in Canada, if you watch the movie, what was it called? Tropic Thunder, at one point, one of the characters says, "You never go full retard." Okay, well, our government just went full retard today, or ballistic in their announcements of all these new measures and the mandates and the dates that they're pushing through. And my first question, like, I'm looking at all this, and I kind of caught myself again in a vulnerable moment. And I wanted to share with the audience, do you guys remember Charlie Sheen when he was imploding? Everybody outside would realize that he was imploding, right? But when he was asked by that guy Morgan on CNN or whatever, he says, "Oh, I'm winning, duh." So he's the only guy who thought he was winning, but of course he was imploding, right? He was going fucking nuts. So I caught myself this morning. I'm like, am I Charlie Sheen? Do I think I'm winning, but I'm actually like imploding? Or is my government Charlie Sheen? So what do you think, Janine?
Okay, who's Charlie Sheen? We better ask, who's that character? Who's the one who's imploding? Because I've been saying it's the bad guys. Mm-hmm. And they're literally just on their way out wreaking havoc because they know they've lost. Well, that could be that character, Charlie Sheen, but is it really us? That's what you're wondering. Because a lot of people wonder that off and on, right?
Yeah. No,
Okay,
I catch myself like I know what I know, but then I'm like, wait, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm Charlie Sheen and I'm failing to recognize that everybody realizes that I'm crazy, but I don't get it yet, right? So,
well,
and I'm sure a lot of the audience
Jamie,
members are going through these same emotions as they're getting forced closer and closer to those dead dates where they have to, you know, take the thing or lose their job. They're probably thinking, wait, am I the crazy one here or am I not? Let's ask the cards.
Yeah, let's ask the cards.
Mm-hmm. CCH says, JC, if you're crazy, so are the rest of us. Exactly.
So this is us. That represents everybody who right now is in the same boat as you and me.
Right.
Where we're like, no, we're right. We're right. We're holding the line, blah, blah, blah. But this is the bad guys. Okay, so this is interesting because this card and this was underneath it. So that clarifies it. Okay, this card is a finished card. It's a come to a completion. And it's usually a fantastic card because it says, whatever you were here doing or doing for lifetimes, even, you've come to a completion and it's on to the next project or whatever. So this card's, they're completed. They're done whatever they were doing, but they're not liking it. So they're finished their lifetimes. It was karmically known by the universe that their time's up. Whatever lesson we've been learning with them, it was meant to end now. That's the really bigger picture. I just wanted to, because I've always thought that. Like, I didn't think for a minute when that letter of the alphabet would say, we've already won. I got a feeling they meant even more so than the white hats already won. I think it's coming from the knowledge that karmically it can't keep going like that. Those guys are, time's up on those guys. Okay, and that's what I think. Their karma got called in. Even the earth isn't going to support them anymore. And we were talking about that last night.
Yeah.
Okay, so they don't like that. Okay, so this is us. So there's a lot of things going on we don't know about, and we all feel in the dark and we're waiting. And some of us are sitting on the fence because we don't know, are we the crazy ones? Are they the crazy ones? So that could be a lot of people. We're almost afraid to take the blindfold off, some of us. I'm not speaking for myself because I don't feel like that, but a lot of people do. I'm pretty hard to shake being a Taurus ox. Look up what a Taurus and the year of the ox are like. We're absurd. So I'll never not hold the line. Even if I was literally proved wrong on every level, I wouldn't. I'd be still holding the line because I'm kind of like that, right? But it looks like I'm right. Because, yeah, some people don't realize this is happening already, and it's karmic and it's way bigger than you. Mm-hmm. Okay, but your lesson in it is what's important. Okay, your lesson. And a lot of people just woke up. You know, they're in varying degrees of, you know, knowing what's going on. So we don't know everything that's going on. A lot of it's being kept from us. Don't forget, there's a whole off-worlder stuff. I'm just barely scratching the surface on that. That stuff's way above my pay grade. I don't know about you, but when I hear those guys talking about the Galactic Federation and everything, I get it in my cards because I'll get it as those off-worlder cards, but then I don't really get it. Like, because I've never had, no off-worlder came to me specifically other than those two experiences I explained. I've told everybody about the UFO sighting, the all-night sighting. They might have picked me up then and dropped me back off in the morning. I'm not sure, or time stood still, but I don't have a recollection of that other than seeing the UFOs. And then it was all of a sudden hours and hours later, and I was still looking up at the UFOs. So that was weird. And then there was that thing I talked about. Was it last night or the night before, where I got on the bus and it was an astrological alignment?
That was on the Monday show. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So everybody's going to need to go watch the Monday show because that was a good one. Anyway, I had this really cool experience where I saw what appeared to be alien, but everybody around me was an alien, but they were these short, really kind of that typical one they always draw with the big oval eyes that go slanted, and not the menacing big tall grays or anything, nothing lizardy, nothing, just really simple body form, all white, creamy white, and then the big head with the big eyes, and they were shorter than us. All the humans turned into that all around me, and everybody was connecting with their heart chakra, and it was so loving that I was crying tears of loving kindness and feeling like a total freak, because on one hand my ego knew I was doing that on a crowded bus and I must have looked like a freak, and they were about ready to throw me off the bus or get me some mental help or take me out of there in a, one of those jackets. So I stopped, pulled myself together, got off the bus and went home. I walked home from there and took the rest of the day off from life. Yeah. Till I felt normal again. My ego was off. I wasn't wearing an ego, you see, but neither was anyone else, but everybody was appearing to be an alien. So that was weird. But other than that, I've never had any of those connections. Right. So we don't know so much, but we're beginning to know some things. Okay, so we're beginning, and the whole situation is almost all the way through. Okay, so I feel like we're getting really close to the end of this movie, which thank goodness. Okay, because that's what we need to be doing. And these guys are finally just going to have to tail between legs, get lost. They're going to have to go. They don't have, there's no place for them here anymore. A lot of people know about them. They're not going to get away with their stuff. We got the digital soldiers putting out stuff. I see it constantly. And even young people are starting to, talk about celebrities and the dark cult activities they're into. And it's becoming common knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the cult people and that bunch can't really get away with their stuff anymore. Everybody's onto their symbolism. Everybody's onto the whole black eye club. Everybody's onto the whole red shoe club.
And it's not just that. I mean, they are falling apart. Of course, the mainstream media don't want to tell you about it. But if you're out there and searching for the news, you're seeing that they're falling apart. Australia is an example of them. The resignations we had in the early week here. I'm sure that the other Commonwealth countries and every other country around the planet are looking at that and realize, oh my God, we're not faring too well. And I wanted to share this because I was having this conversation with Sarah just before the show. I'm like, it's like, there's a general on the planet, so let's call him the bug. Cliff High calls it the bug. So just as a placeholder, could be a bug, could not be a bug, but let's just call it that. And he's ordered all of his troops to attack this particular objective. And they have a certain date in which to achieve that objective. And so one troop took the north end of, let's say they're trying to attack this hill. Well, one troop is on the north side, one's on the west side, one's on the east side, whatever. And so now we just learned that on the east side, one of those troops are falling. You can describe that as Australia. So the other commanders know this. They talk with each other, but they're not stopping. Because they're like, and people are saying, well, why aren't they stopping? They know they're going to fail. I'm like, yeah, but they have orders, one. And if they don't achieve their objective, the result might actually be worse than them not reaching the objective, right? So they don't have a choice to do what they're doing. And this is why they're pushing towards this timeline. What you and I can ask, and maybe the cards, is why is this timeline? Why are they so hell-bent on, here in Canada now it's by the end of the month, right? But every other jurisdictions around the world are all pointing to about the same point here, and we're all seeing the catastrophes everywhere where people now have the decision to make to either take the thing or lose their job, right? Take the thing and pretend that everything's okay and continue the enslavement of the population, or stand for freedom. This is the choice that every human has to make right now, and we're all going to be making it within the next couple of days and weeks. Why is that timeline so important to them? What the hell has them pressed? Why they're so against the wall and having to do all of these egregious things, lying to you in your face, making all of these mistakes? Why are they such in a rush, Janine?
Okay. Something we don't know about, we're not being told about, and it has something to do with an agreement. So they've made an agreement. I was talking about this on one of our shows on Australia, and I can't remember if it was the first one on the pay-per-view or was it just last night. So remind me as I tell you about it. Okay. maybe you'll remember. But what I was getting was they've made these, so they're puppeted. Most of these government people that are pushing all of the agendas that are saying absurd things like Trudeau said, right, this morning, they're puppeted. Okay, so they have a timeline in the movie and they have to deliver their line. And then they're all getting taken out. They're going to get taken out. They've got a shelf life. The next thing that happens is they go meet their fate. I think they're getting rounded up, which a lot of, Juan O'Savin and Simon Parks and those guys are all saying that. Yeah. Not to say they're smarter than us, or maybe but they, if they're right, and I've been getting that too. October is the month that a lot of these people meet their fate. So be that just rounded up, or are they just going to symbolically round up their doubles because they've already been rounded up and they're going to literally meet their fate? I don't know which level it is, but.
Mm-hmm. And is it possible to, I've always wondered, again, if you look at the work of Dr. Paul Laviolette, who talked about this a series of galactic superwaves and what Clefai was picking up in his data, calling strange energies from space, is it possible that they're on this timeline because either we are about to get reinforcements, the organic humans, or we, the organic humans, might be affected by these strange energies from space, where it could perhaps reactivate what scientists call junk DNA and actually make us in the image of gods, which makes us even stronger than they are. They're trying to suppress that God gene, or what Kerry Cassidy calls the rebel gene in her book. Is that what's also in the cards for them, where they know they have to do this before we get empowered somehow, either by reinforcements or self-actualize maybe this dormant DNA?
And I'm not necessarily getting that.
Okay.
I got it more like, I get it more like a revelation. So there's going to be a revelation. I think even the normies, or something's going to happen that's kind of hard, that wakes everybody up on a large scale. It's going to be really difficult. It could be the big, what we've been waiting for, the EBS. That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It would be an outside influence that, like some kind of a solar flash some people talk about, where people finally wake the up and realize what we know already and catch up a little bit to us. Some people are saying that might happen. There's all of these ways it could happen, but I feel like all of a sudden there's a mass awareness from something that's not that easy to, I guess none of those things would be that easy, because if you all of a sudden have to catch up to what we've been doing for the last couple of years, at least, some people 20 years path, but for myself, maybe 2 years. If you had to all of a sudden know that dropped in your head, or you were told it in no uncertain terms, even from a mainstream media source, or we don't know how this is going to come, but that's between now and the end of October, it looks like something.
Well, Clefai thinks, and I'm going to say here, he thinks, this is not from he sees the WebBot data showing something, and as a wild guess, because he doesn't have the granularity anymore because of all the censorship around the world, but he thinks this Tower card moment, or this revelation, is going to be impacting humans to understand how big the industry of children really is, and how it goes down to your street level. And that's how massive this operation is. It's not just a few crazy people out there. This is a big industry. So he thinks perhaps that could be it. He hopes he's wrong, of course. This is going to be hard to swallow for a lot of people, but that would match what you're just describing now as that huge Tower card moment where everybody wakes up. Okay, Owen in the chat says, can JC see both chats? Yes. So when I'm doing the simulcast here, I do see both chats, but you guys are 6,000 in the chat right now, and it's going by really, really really fast. So I might not see them all. So if you guys have questions for us, you might have a better chance in the PayPal tip jar. So a big thank you to everyone who are supporting us there. And we will be picking some questions there again for tonight. So let me bring that link back down in the chat. Okay, so Janine, let's go back to this picture here. So that's not me. So that's the government right now, right? That's what we're saying.
Oh yeah, we're doing great. We're on the right side of this. That's not us.
Okay. Just to be clear, you never know, because if you're crazy and you're in the asylum, how can you self-diagnose? You wouldn't know. You might not know. So,
well, anyways, we'd all be in it together then.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and you were talking about your ET experience on Monday, and we recommended to the audience that they go see They Live, this John Carpenter movie. And I've since had so many emails of people saying, hey, I never heard of this movie. I went out, I rented it, and oh my God, JC, you're right. This is a documentary. It's exactly what's happening right now. And it's so thank you everyone for all those emails. And of course, if you haven't seen it, go see the movie. And of course, yes, it's cheesy. It's from 1988. The effects are not what you expect from today's Hollywood machinery, but still, the message in that movie was absolutely fascinating. Okay, let me pick up our first question here in the PayPal tip jar. Let's get that started. Okay, wait. Teresa, let me see if I can scroll this in. Hold on. Do you see that? No, wait. Share screen. There you go. Teresa? I forgot my note. Oh. Did she tip earlier? Well, thank you for both those tips. Can you tell me why I've seen different entities and what my mission is since they never speak to me? Okay, a lot of our audience members are having this experience where they're getting visitations, communications, but they're just like, okay, what was that all about? I didn't understand a word they said, or I know something was being transmitted to me, but I didn't get it. So in the case of Teresa Ernst, what was that communication all about? Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate that.
Okay, a part of her did get it. So on some level, something will activate when it's supposed to. So something was being tweaked in her knowing. And when it's time, she's got some kind of job to do in this whole situation going forward. I'm going to call it in the mop-up. So when it's time to start recreating everything from scratch, figuring out what our real history is, all that kind of stuff that we're going to have to do, she's going to be a part of that. So she's been visited since she was a little girl, by the way. A child card came right in the middle. So I feel like this has reoccurred. So we've got this destiny. She has a destined job in this time, like I think we all do. In some way, even if it's just to help one neighbor not go down the path of getting the you-know-what, even if it's just to be an example for later when people look back and go, wow, I should have listened to, or I should have done what that person did, or wow, that person really stuck to their guns and they turned out to be right. And we don't know how we're going to impact others going forward, right? Like I got one ex-friend, was my best friend growing up. She's now saying she's not even going to talk on the phone or have any connection or anything to do with anyone who hasn't done this twice, because they are obviously against humanity. So she's thinking the exact opposite of what we would say on this channel, and that we're trying to help everybody be in danger health-wise. And this is somebody who I always put in high esteem and was considered one of the smartest people in our grade. Bar none, everybody thought she was a genius. And now I'm thinking we're the geniuses, frankly.
Wow.
I was the dummy in the class, by the way. I mean, I got away with, I was literally in remedial classes. I got away. That's because I thought it was all BS. And guess what? I was right. I was the smart one because I was going, none of this feels like it works for me. That's all I would say to myself. And I forgave myself. I was I wasn't hard on myself, by the way. I thought the whole time in my deep heart that I was right and that this stuff's useless. And whatever they're pumping out there, none of it's right. Like I always had that confidence. So I'm really lucky. And that's what kept me staying ready to do this, being exactly where I am right now.
Yeah, and holding, in French, la colonne vertébrale, like to hold your spine straight, even in these like tough winds and headstorms, because we're being pushed on every side here. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let me bring this up. There's a comment in the chat. Ali G, just a note to you, JC and Janine, today the Premier Victoria is under investigation for corruption at the moment. He refuses to resign. So this is not New South Wales. This is now Victoria. Fascinating.
We looked at that last night and said he was going to be the next to go.
Right. So for now, he at least has decided that he's the Premier. Is it a woman or a guy? I'm not sure here in Victoria. Decided to stay for now. He refuses to resign for now. Interesting. Okay, let's ask the cards. How long can he hold up?
Okay.
That's going to be interesting also.
Yeah, like
I think perhaps the higher ups saw the people resign in New South Wales and they said, no, you effers, you work for me and you're not resigning. We can't have you guys fall like this. So you have to hold the line. So I'm guessing he got the riot act read to him by his higher up not to resign.
Yeah.
Because again, here in our mainstream news, they're still not talking about what happened in New South Wales. And if they are, they're not exactly saying the real reasons. So it's being obfuscated from us. So how long does he have?
I'm thinking maybe 5 days. More things are going to come out about him. Yeah. How does he feel about it? Yeah, you're right. He probably got told he had to at least hold out for a certain amount of time. They are really trying to stretch this timeline. It is really weird. They're trying to get to the end of the month somehow. I don't think they will, but they're all across the board. I'm hoping I'm right about this, because the feeling I'm getting is we're going down like dominoes this month.
Well, here's the thing. I was talking to another person today close to me, and they were like, what do I do? Forced again, to do the thing or lose their thing. And I'm like, you need to do whatever you need to do to buy time. This is a time game right now. Yep. Time's on our side. It's not on their side. So whatever
you want me to ask for your friend?
Sure. Yeah.
Because there might be a specific approach that person can take. Let's have a look.
Okay. Very good.
So you think of them and then send it to me.
Okay. Very good. And Amy says, love you, JC, in these chats. Thank you, Amy. Appreciate that. Really do.
Okay, so the body, the upper people in the work area that this person's talking about, where they're getting their orders from, are the good guys. So this is a ruse. This is the good. The alliance is in charge of the organization that's telling her or him that they need to get to it. This is a ruse. So it's all about time. Okay. And it has everything to do with justice is coming, and it's going to wipe this silliness out. Yeah, absolutely. They need to stay firm in their good health. This is a good health card. Trusting in their body selves. They don't have too much longer to wait. This will take a change really soon.
Okay.
They need to just, like you said, just wait it out.
Buy time.
Don't get fearful. Don't get fearful.
Yeah.
Just trust. It's like you have to absolutely trust in the universe loves you. You're doing the right thing. This is all against your human rights. This will right itself. Mm-hmm. I trust in the bigger universe. That's what you got to do right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, this person was saying, I hear other coworkers, they might want to try this and they might want to try that to try to avoid and skirt. I'm like, dude, that's not who you are. And if you do that, then you're tarnishing your own soul. You need to stand in your ground. But right now, you're not forced right now to be discovered by time, because again, this is a minutes, hours, days type of thing.
Yeah, they just need to avoid. Keep asking questions. If they get put in a corner, there's all these questions you can ask.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, go find me this, this, and this, because I need to make you know, a thoughtful.
Yeah. Scarlett Wilson saying, no, not Scarlett, but thank you, Scarlett. Yes, but that's not the one. Wait, scroll too fast. Somebody said, take your vacation days. Oh, there you go. Yeah, take your vacation days.
Yeah,
you know, before they fire you. Yeah, you're on sick leave. What are they going to do then? Like, this is like how preposterous this whole thing is.
Everything's to do with waiting, avoiding, and putting off the meeting and sidestepping, and
don't make it easy for them and don't give in. Yeah.
So the people giving these orders may not know what's really going on, but the really higher ups are being puppeted. Whatever you're talking about there, wherever that person works, there's some really high ups that feel like they're completely being told to push that agenda, and then everybody else down below maybe doesn't even know they're in on the movie.
Right. Wow, fascinating. Okay. Gosha Mohos. Love you both. Love you too. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. Let me see if I can get the next question. Okay, well, I'll do this Twitter thing. I posted this earlier today. Of course, Mr. T, our Mr. T here in Canada. It's not really a Mr., but we can.
That does not look like him.
Not there at all. No, you're absolutely right. I'm like, why did you put this
remotely.
picture? Yeah, it doesn't look like
Whoever
him.
that is has a wig on.
Yeah, doesn't look like him at all.
Yeah.
At any rate, this was the fact that he was caught on this Truth and Reconciliation Day, the national day we just had now. And he was traveling, not where he was supposed to be for that day, attending these meetings to show that the government actually cared about what they were doing. Apparently, he was out surfing someplace else. So can't verify that, but at least the media is reporting that, yeah, he wasn't where he's supposed to be. And he's admitted that, yeah, maybe that was a mistake. So my question is, what the hell was he doing really on that day, if not this? Was he perhaps surfing, as some people say, or was he caught somewhere being read the Riot Act and what his next steps were going to actually be? It feels like there's something wrong with this story. I don't doubt that he missed the whole day, and it seems like a big FU to the Aboriginal community. I don't doubt that. But what was really going on there?
That was a story made up to make them look bad. These guys made up the story. So those are my Alliance good guys and the Wheel of Fortune. So that was just a way to make him look bad. I just feel, I don't get that was, this is what he was doing. He was having a really, really bad day and being really, really, I almost feel like he's at the spa. So, you know, how cards are literal.
Let me bring up a comment from the chat. The person said he was at Gitmo, and he's, of course, Mr. C's son.
Yeah.
So
yeah. We definitely have already confirmed that with the cards.
The part 2, yeah.
Astral
what about
son.
the first one? Is he off the plane?
Because, well, this is in the past. So he's like that. 10s are the end of something, and not in a good way. This is not a good card. This is like where somebody breaks their back. And that's already happened. And then this card came underneath it. So I'm thinking he's already gone, or he's already been processed and ready to go, or his time's up. He's got 2 10s, time's up. So he wasn't anywhere, they said. There's a double, maybe was surfing, okay? But like this could be even an actor card. But I think the good guys made the story up to make him look bad.
Well, the time's up again, maybe, because right after this announcement came up today, they were rushing to push all of this stuff out, and it's a draconian would be understatement with some of the measures there that are pushing to the public service here. And so
just think about it, Jean-Claude. They would normally in politics, they would never do that. So he's just been caught kind of with his pants down over here on a big day that they really needed to be behaving themselves.
Like, you think nobody would notice? Come on, man. Yeah. You had people throwing rocks at you during the campaign. People were looking, like, come on.
Yeah. So this is all fake. This is, they're trying to wake people up with this stuff. None of this makes sense. This is what we need to put that together. Doesn't make sense. And a political move would be not to come down heavy with your worst draconian nightmare plan, like right after that on Thanksgiving weekend coming up. Like, it doesn't make any sense politically.
Yeah, because there's the typical political arrogance that would describe some of the moves, and then there's this. This is way beyond the chart, and of course he's still in a minority government. By the way, typically minority governments don't act like this.
And he barely squeaked in with obviously fudged his way in there. Like if anyone's paying attention,
that's just a conspiracy theory, Janine. Come on. I gotta throw that in there, just in case. I'll read my statement from my lawyers. This was the most secure election in our history. Okay, good for lawyer speak. Okay, Azrael, that's a beautiful name. Hello, Janine and JC. I'm a new member of the Insider Access Pass, and I'm loving you guys. My question is, am I a Pleiadian starseed, and what is my mission? Azrael, thank you so much. Appreciate that. That is from the Discord chat for the Insider Access member group. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate your support. That's a big guess.
Yep. Wow. And so is somebody really close to her, and they came together to work together this lifetime. Does she have a really close sibling, a best friend who's like a soul connection? So somebody really close is with her together, and they have a mission together. Okay, and they work really well together. So I wonder if she's met that person or she knows who that person is. But they have a very healing mission to do together. She's also been, so she may be a starseed Pleiadian. Is that what she said?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a big yes. But she's also been incredibly high up in esoteric knowledge as this would be our, what are those, druid. So she's had lifetimes on Earth. So this was in the past. So she's been all kinds of things, and she's got bringing all kinds of wisdom.
I love it. Well, thank you for being in my chat. Starseed and Pleiadian. Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
She's going to get her mission handed to her really soon.
And Azrael, if you're still in the chat, let us know if you are here with a sibling or a twin flame, maybe on this mission too. Like Janine was saying, I'd be curious to know. So I'll come back to that chat in a second here. Oh, my best friend, I'm close with. I'm a dude. Lol, you guys rock. Okay, he's a dude. So Azrael is a dude, but okay, he says, yeah, my best friend. Okay, awesome. Man, Penny. Why do I call you Penny? That's weird. You're rocking it tonight, of course, as always. Okay, Peggy is my question, not Penny. Peggy is the next in my chat. Peggy, thank you. Peggy, Patty, Garvey. Who is the little man, quote unquote, who scares me? What does he want? Like, I thought that was a fascinating question. I'm curious. Who's the little man? From Peggy.
Interesting. She's known the little man since she was a very young person. This is a female I'm talking about, Peggy. Yeah. So she's known the little man from a child. So that entity energy might come to her and appear to be like a little short man or whatever. But this is what's interesting. It's a past life lover who can't seem to let go and misses her energy. So she could do some work maybe with a healer to send them packing if they're getting on her nerves. It's almost like they're a stalker energy, but they're not trying to do her harm though. But they missed her. And they just like to be around her energy, but there's no particular reason why she has to, like, if she's comforted by them, great. But if not, she might want to think about getting what they call, like, people can do work like that where they'll cut the karmic ties with somebody. So she had some lifetimes with that energy that energy can't let go of her. So she might want to cut the ties if they're bothering her, or so they're not necessarily part of her mission this lifetime. It's more about their own feelings around not wanting to let go of her.
Wow. Okay. I wanted to bring this up because I got a slew of emails today During the show last night, let me bring up the poster again here if you guys are just joining me. Janine and I interviewed Tamara, but Tamara talked about these mantras that she uses. And we didn't get to, she was having trouble pointing us out to where that coupon code was on her website. So I asked her, hey, can you send me all this after the show? And of course, I got tons of email. JC, where's the mantra? Where's the this? Where's the that? So I'm like, okay, hold on. So I created a page today for you guys on her website, which includes all the documents that Tamara was talking about. So let me bring that up down in the chat. So it's beyondmystic.net/Tamara. And there you'll find the mantras and also the pine needle tea treatment she was talking about against the thing. I won't say it. How long do the things have to live? And then how do I decline the thing? So these were all the things that she was talking again. Sorry for the code words here, but you can read on the screen. So anyways, all those documents are there. And included there also, I put this poster up. This is what she was talking about, the coupon code for the Intuitive Insights session that was heavily discounted. So now if you just click on this link, it'll go directly to the page where she was trying to point us to last night. So again, beyondmystic.net/Tamara. And so the link is in the live chat now, and I'll pin it to the comments here right after the show. And of course, also here, I put a link directly to the Australia episode. A lot of people were still looking for that one. For some reason, they couldn't find it in the pay-per-view. So that's the direct link to it. And of course, our coupon code, which is still valid right now, it's the Stay Connected coupon code. That'll give you 10% off the Insider Access Pass membership. Okay. What should we do next, Janine? We are 46 minutes in. We have quite a bit of time left here, about 14 minutes. Is there anything that you were talking about with Catherine Edwards today that maybe you want to showcase for this audience? Or is there anything else on your radar also that you think we should pick cards on before I pull more questions from the chat here? What do you think?
No, I think we should give them some questions from the chat.
Okay. So let's go. Let's see if I can see one very quickly here from the live chat, and then we'll go back to PayPal and the Insider Access group. Okay, there you go. Lisa, aloha, Jean-Claude and Janine. Am I safe here in Hawaii? They're forcing the arm thing. Is there any new man for me long term? Okay. Do you want to do the man thing, the relationships thing, or the safe thing, or both? Which one do you want to tackle first?
With the, is she safe?
Yeah.
I mean, across the board, I think that's going to be reiterating a lot of things. I mean, we've been talking about it for days and days and weeks and weeks. Don't buy into it. Don't buy into the fear. Stay coasting. And like Tamara was talking about being invisible. Okay, so not everybody obviously knows how to do that, but not drawing attention to yourself and just coasting along because this is a time thing. Okay, so what we've been saying all along so far today is maybe she wrote that question before she heard what we were saying, but we're coming up to, it's a do or die kind of thing, right? This month is it. Like the movie's they gotta do the ending of the movie here. This is otherwise, everybody is going to get genocided, which I don't buy for 1 second is going to happen. Human race, that's just not going to happen. Okay,
well, that's what I was saying to Sarah. Either all of us who are awake get slaughtered, which again, I don't believe that we're going that way, or they get slaughtered. But there's no more of this anymore. We're going into this new era and this whole new existence here on Earth. So my bet's on that. Hold strong.
Yeah, so she needs to work on, she goes back and forth, and lots of people do, between doubting themselves and doubting their right and doubting you're right. And so you got to get to that place of being absolutely holding the line for your own self, that someone's not going to do that to your body. You're not going to poison will not be put into you. Okay. And you would review. And so you're just like, no, do not consent. So get into that mindset. It's a lot easier to attract the right things to happen if you're not in fear. Fear attracts what it fears. So you got to get out of fear and self-doubt for this. This is the whole exercise. So never mind all the other stuff we've been getting. So in the background, there's things going on, blah, blah, blah. Never mind. if you were literally facing this, it's like, this is your freedom is at stake, your own sovereignty, and you don't want to live your life as an enslaved being, enslaved to pharmaceutical. We're already going that way anyway, right? People go to the doctors for everything, and doctors we're finding out about 80% not good. Okay, there's some really great ones that are standing up for humanity, but there's a whole lot more who aren't. They're throwing us under the bus for a paycheck. They're lying to us and throwing us under the bus and ganging up on us, all of humanity. Literally, we've discovered hospitals are ground zero and the gas chambers, pretty much, in this war. So yeah, like you're going to let them do that to you. So just say no and just stay firmly in a no. And with all the good stuff we've been bringing and all the smart people have been helping you understand, and everybody understand what's going on in the background, that'll be helpful. Okay. But try to just stay in the understanding that you're a worthy human. You don't deserve to be enslaved for one more second. You don't consent to it. Say no. So that's your job. Okay. So you're safe if you make yourself safe, right? Nobody's going to come and, you have to be safe within yourself. That's the whole karmic work, our part. So everybody, all the humans part, we have to get to that place. Okay. And trust. And I get she is safe because we're all safe, because karmically these guys don't get to win. But part of being safe is that our whole humanity rises up a level and gets more involved in their own safety and doesn't just sit back and let doctors take care of their health and let somebody else take care of this. And we actually have to be present, wake the what up, not wait for anybody to save us, and actually take personal responsibility for our safety. So that's what I mean by, yeah, she'll be safe. So what's the other part of that question?
Will she meet a partner, a male partner? You go back. Sorry, I lost it. The point where I was.
Yeah, she's looking for her partner. Okay.
Yeah.
So when a person goes to a reader, and if she was in front of me as a client, I would ask her to give me a time frame on it, because the likelihood of meeting a partner in the lifetime, she might even meet 3 or 4 more. We don't know, right? But absolutely, if she wanted to, she could meet partners. She might want to say something like, so I'm going to formulate the question for her. In the next 2 years, let's give it a time frame, unless she gave it a time frame, because a reading like it, we could be talking about in her lifetime, or we could be talking about maybe she means in the next 6 weeks.
Right.
So it's really important when you got a good reader in front of you, you want to be specific.
Yeah.
Are you going to meet do you mean, are you going to meet somebody that you can really work with, blah, blah, blah? Because going out and meeting a partner is actually pretty easy. But is it going to be a lasting relationship? So I'm going to ask a quality situation, just because I'm assuming she might mean that. But if she doesn't mean that, she should write really quick in. So I'm going to say, is she going to meet a quality situation within, let's even say, the next year?
Okay, that's fair.
Right? It's just important, because that's too general.
Yeah.
Every year you could meet somebody new.
Yeah.
Right? Or, yeah. So let's have a look.
Oh, wait, that's why I can't find it. This was from the live chat, and it buffers. Like, there's 17,000 people in the chat now, so that's why I lost it. Okay, I was looking in the PayPal. No, this was a live chat question, so I'm sorry. I forgot who asked that. But yes, there was no time frame. But
she's got 2 potentials around her.
Okay.
2 potentials that she's considering or to be considered. Maybe she's not literally even knowing about. Sometimes there's people around us we don't even know about. So if she was in my tarot card reading room, I'd say, okay, there's these 2 people. Are you aware of them? Right? So there's 2 potentials around her. So we'll just say it like that. Right now, she feels really independent and does actually really value her independence. So she needs to really consider which one of those two around her would give her a lot of personal freedom, because that's really important to her. So sometimes we want a partner, but we don't necessarily want to give up our, like, have them move in our house, have them, like, move into their house. Like, what level of, does she want a companion to do things with, or does she want a full on relate? So she's going to have to really look at those two carefully once she figures out who I'm talking about, unless she already knows who they are, and really weigh them up for who's going to, because her soul says it really wants to be independent in the relationship. So she needs somebody who's not going to, like, cut off her oxygen in the relationship, give her lots of space, frankly. Okay. And yes, so within the year, she could have that narrowed down and be in a really great, committed even relationship with somebody. But she needs to really consider, because there's two there the universe is saying they're offering that could work, but she needs to consider her own needs in it and make a choice. She's got a couple that could work there.
Okay, very good. I'm just distracted. There's a few people bitching at Carrie Cassidy in the chat. I'm not sure why they're talking about that. But a few people said, "Oh, she's a little bit rude and crass." I'm like, well, Carrie's pretty tough, but you have to also look at her information, and she's done amazing work over these last couple of decades, bringing out amazing information. And there's a few people who said, "Yeah, she taught us a lot." So, anyways, if you haven't checked this book out, The Rebel Gene, I did a book decode with Carrie a little while back, and there's absolutely amazing stuff in there. And it pertains to everything that's happening now and why it's happening now. So go check out the book. Go check it out. Okay, I have this. This is really cool, Janine. I saw this email today and I said, oh my God, I have to bring this up. So a couple of weeks ago, I did this video and I put it on BitChute. I called it Battlefield Promotion, simply because we could have put it here. And in there, I was calling out to nurses, doctors to say what they have to say, right? That the time was up and they needed to step up and be part of the solution as opposed to being part of the problem. And somebody took me up on it. So this is Dr. Watch it. I'm going to share this with you. It's absolutely amazing. Dr. Karen Ritchie just started her own BitChute channel, My Thoughts on Medicine and Consent. So she talks about informed consent here from her perspective and what we can do to empower ourselves to ask the people in charge in all of these ethical committees and structures, whether those are at universities or at medical places of work. And it's absolutely fabulous video. So thank you so much, Karen, Dr. Karen Ritchie, for taking the call to action here and taking that battlefield promotion. So I wanted to share this video with everyone. Let me bring that link down in the live chat. Please, everyone in the chat now, go support her. Go watch this video. She is putting herself on the line here for you. She is a professional healthcare worker, and what she has to say is absolutely fabulous. So big merci, big thank you, and gros merci to Dr. Karen Ritchie. That was amazing. Okay, Greg. Good evening, JC. Can we have Janine pull some cards on me? I recently saw a psychic medium who said I was a star seed and I was here to show people things that they can't see. Coincidentally, I'm in the process, him also, so it ties into this, of starting 2 different podcasts on YouTube's. Blessing and a blessing to you both. So Craig, is Craig also going to be successful? Maybe that's the question here for him on this mission as he's stepping up here into his role to help people see what they can't see. Let's give him what's in store for him, Craig.
Yep. So right now he's looking in one direction, but really he needs to look in the direction of the bad guys in this war. So if he's not starting those podcasts to get in the truther situation, somehow be a truther, I think he might be looking in the wrong direction. The universe wants him to consider getting on the truther wagon if he hasn't already, because what he knows is he has a whole bunch of intel intuitively from past lives, like a lot of us do, on these guys. And he has a real way to understand what they're up to. Yeah, and it looks like he's known this for a really long time, but is hesitant to admit it to himself. So maybe his ego is sheltering him from the knowledge, because egos know that they're going to die a painful, slow death as soon as you really come in. Like as soon as I chose to do what I do, my ego had to go out the window, because let me tell you, dating people, and when you first meet people, my whole life I encountered, like, then you tell them what you do for a living, because I've been doing this for a living for at least 35 years. So since in my 20s. Okay, so it's a super big turnoff for most average people you meet out there. It's been my experience. They don't want a psychic girlfriend, okay, like, or partner. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's not to say there isn't a lot of people that would love that, but there a whole lot of them, at least the way it worked in my life, ran the other way. Okay, so your ego has to take a really big hit. I was always the weirdo at parties. Okay, when I go to parties, okay, first of all, I like, people want to know, they want you to, and some of them even, like, because I'm a card reader, they want me to bring my cards to the party. This happened my whole life. Doesn't happen anymore because I put them in their place. And they wanted me to read their cards at the party, you know, like as a party trick. Okay. And it's like, when they invite their plumber friends, do they ask them to bring their plungers and stuff, fix their toilet while they're at the party? Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, no, I wanted to just be in my ego and go to the party, but I'm always a reader to most people. So it's, although I had to cut some friends loose because I figured out they were just befriending me because I'd read their, you know, and then they'd ask me stuff all the time in every conversation. Oh, what do you feel about this? What do you get about this? And it's like, how about you tell me how I'm doing today? Because I'm done telling you how you're doing. Do you know what I mean? So that's your ego that wants some attention for itself, right? So this person might find that their ego's been in the way of knowing how special they are. And they're going to have to let their ego die some degrees to really take on what their real work is. So they're absolutely got a big role here, but it's in the truther movement. So if that's not what they're looking at, if they're trying to do something fluffier, no.
Okay, he just gave me more clarity, and it goes to what you were saying. He says, JC, the two channels would be on the war that's been perpetuated on us for thousands of years. Perfect. And also solutions to the problems we are facing.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's exactly what the universe wants you to do. And you have, that person is they've been deeply done wrong, like what we were talking about with Tamara. They've been in the tunnels. They know the dirty tricks of those guys. And they closely had close interactions with throughout lifetimes. So they would have some really inside intel. So that person's going to be very valuable on the truther scene once they get into it.
Mm-hmm. Wow, very good. Yeah. And speaking of that plumber who goes everywhere for parties and people want him to fix his toilets, it's like, no, I'm just here to party, guys. I understand. And of course, folks, this is the point where I have to ask you guys to support the show. Janine and I do this for free every Wednesday and Monday now, because we're so busy and we want to answer as many questions as we can. But please, the exchange of energy is, of course, appreciated. And as you know, my channel is still demonetized, so all of my videos are free here. There's no revenue whatsoever. I exist because of you guys. So a big thank you to everyone in the PayPal tip jar. And Janine, let me ask you to go on overtime and do one more here from the PayPal tip jar before we go. Okay. It relates to what we were just talking about now also with Tamara. And this is from, I believe it's the Darlene question. Yes. Okay. Thank you, JC and Janine, for all you do. I love you both. Love you too. Question. Last night, I got very emotional after hearing about your time with Tamara in a past life. Was I one of the kids with you as you escaped? What is my life purpose, Darlene?
I love how they add, what is my life purpose? Right at the end. It's like, really?
Yeah, that's an easy one. Just,
That could be an hour right there.
Right. Let me throw that one in there. That's an easy one. Let's start with the first part. Was she part of this?
I'm just being
we're having fun.
Now, a practical Taurus. Like, what? You just snuck that in there? Okay, so strength and the queen. Well, this person absolutely had some really tough lifetimes. I'm not getting a yes on they were in that boat, but they could have been in their own boat escaping and or had their own kind of experiences very much like that. They had some really, really scary ones in the cult for sure. You better believe it. And they became really strong and powerful through the experiences. That's what happens. That's why Tamara and I and yourself, Jean-Claude, people that have been in those kind of experiences, two things happen. You either become like the bad guys and start abusing others, or you literally become a warrior for the cause, and Teflon grows on you because you've been through the worst. So it can't, how bad it can get, and you're never going to let anyone else go through that if you can help it.
Yeah.
Which is something like what Tamara was saying about how she feels about children. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So those are the two ways you can go. And this person got really strong and powerful through her horrendous experiences, and has so much they could share, and has a really good sense of boundaries. And that's the part that would be really helpful if they could. Hopefully they're teaching others and working with others who've been through traumatic experience. I mean, maybe not as traumatic as what they've been through, but they've got a lot of tools now that they can help others. So that lends itself to the life purpose.
The life purpose part. Okay, Darlene, thank you so much. You got your work cut out for you, as we all do here in this community. And thank you so much, everyone, for supporting us. I really appreciate it. And I was a little bit emotional during the show tonight, but I'm happy to be here tonight, spending the time with you two. I feel better now. And now we're into it, because it was a weird day today, holding all of this energy.
It was.
This frequency that is hitting us. These are all things that are bubbling up, of course, and we have to deal with them as humans. And together in this group, you guys are amazing. I love you guys. Okay, Janine, we were supposed to say something before we ended the show, and I just forgot it. Was it the Tamara thing? Wait, let me bring that back down also, if you're just joining now. If you guys were looking for the documents that Tamara was talking about, I've put them all in one place for it's easy for you to download. BeyondMystic.net/Tamara. Do you remember if we had something else, Janine? I just completely draw a blank.
I can't think of anything
that
you missed, but I'm pretty famously forgetful. So
again, it's been a weird day. I don't know. As soon as I hit the end broadcast, I'm like, oh shoot, now I remember. Hold on, let me go look at my channel. Maybe it was something having to do with updates on the schedule. No, not that. I don't see anything there. Man, what was that about? I hit dead airspace on my show. I never do this. All right, guys. I don't know. It's just a weird day. It's one of those retrogrades. I don't know. Okay.
It is a retrograde. It is a retrograde. Remember, be easy on yourself. I think there's still a retrograde out there.
Well, why don't we do that? Just very quickly, if you want to pull a card or two on the energies here moving forward, because we won't see the audience here until next Monday. Are we expecting a big tarot card moment here from here to there? How do they deal with this energy? And perhaps while you're talking about that, I'll remember what it was I'm supposed to bring up. Let's see if I can find my notes too.
Three different people that have been involved in the party substance, the bad stuff, and have done really bad things and crimes against humanity are going to be processed between now and Monday. I don't know if we'll hear about it. We might hear little tidbits about it. So and a lot of people are saying, like I heard, and I love David Rodriguez, by the way, but he always likes to say, well, he doesn't have any actual proof of those things going on in the background. But every time I look at it, if David Rodriguez is watching, I'm telling you, there's secret tribunals going on. I was like, David, I'm going to phone you up and tell you. Yeah, because that's what it's saying. So we're not seeing it literally. And no, of course, we don't get to see the videos of it just yet, but that'll be happening. But I don't think we're not going to have that big moment this week anyway, at least or not till Monday. Like Monday isn't going to be between now and Monday. No, I don't get that. There's no big towers there or anything, but things are going to be happening. Let me tell you.
Okay. I've had David on the show before. I actually really like him. Why don't we invite him to
Rodriguez?
Why don't we invite him to do a show?
I'd love to.
We'd love that. Yeah, me too.
I don't know. I don't know if he likes tarot card readers or not. I have no idea. But I absolutely
I know him to be very open and very respectful of people's views. I had a great time. I think I interviewed him twice. Once on my own, and another time I think with Laura Eisenhower. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
He's cool. I just love him. But
I like him too.
He always says that, and I get it. I get what he's saying, right?
Yeah.
But
well, we can have an adult conversation. It's good. We'll move the needle forward as we do. Thank you so much. Oh, I remember what I wanted to say. Okay. There was a weird day today too, and I started the show and we didn't get into it, but I want to caution the audience. If you're having an issue with your pay-per-view, for example, yes, please fill out the form, because a lot of people are just emailing the main queue and they're saying, my password doesn't work. Okay, who are you? Which episode are you looking for? Like, you got to help me out. So fill in the contact form on the website. That goes directly, and it will ask you your questions. We'll see your username, and then we can track everything and get you your answer a lot faster. So you're going to save a lot of time for everybody in the queue who's waiting for answers if you guys give me a little bit more data when you're sending emails. So don't send emails to me personally. Go through the booking form and provide that information, and we'll do that. The other thing, I had this guy today. He sent an email to PayPal and he's accusing us of false advertising, and he wanted a refund. And I'm like, wait, dude, what do you mean false advertising? I mean, I have a video, we say the content, you see a snippet of it, you put it in your cart, you're like, what's false advertising? I have exactly what we're advertising, and you got exactly what you asked for. And then as PayPal was bitching at me for saying, hey, this is false advertising, JC, you need to address this claim here from this person. I went back, and this person had also sent an email to me saying, oh, I made a mistake. I bought this by mistake, completely on me. It's my fault. Can I have a refund? So on one hand, he tells me that, but on the other hand, he tells PayPal that it's false advertising and he wants his money back. I'm like, okay, here's the issue. First of all, you're attacking my credibility, which is a big no-no. I don't stand for that. But two, here's the thing. I've applied with PayPal to have a higher function on my system so that I can help the people who want to do monthly recurring payments. And in order to do that, I need to have another tranche of the PayPal license so that I can keep your credit card processing payments on file. And in order to do that, I have to have a clean record. And so if you guys are putting out claims like that have nothing to do with the reality, you're hurting everybody else who's trying to get those monthly payments. So please don't do that. Just go through the form, tell me what it is. If you made a mistake, that's fine. I'll reimburse you, no problem. But please watch out when you fill out those forms with PayPal, and especially when you attack my credibility. I don't like that. If I do something wrong, I'll fess up. But Guy, that wasn't cool, man. I didn't appreciate that. So anyways, that's my rant for today. It was a weird retrograde day too. So,
yeah.
All right. Folks, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Of course, you can please do go and subscribe here to Sending Ravens, and also at Tarot by Janine on Janine's channel. And if you're watching on Janine's channel, please come over here on BeyondMystic 3, Jean-Claude at BeyondMystic 3. We're growing a little bit lately. We're almost where we were when we got deleted the last time. So I'm happy about that, and I want to continue growing this community. And I love you guys absolutely so much. So have a great weekend, everyone, and we'll see you on Monday evening. Oh, actually, we'll probably see you Sunday for our pay-per-view and our special investigation. So the Insider Access Pass guys, we'll see that beforehand, and then we'll see you back here on next Monday. All right, guys, have a great week. Au revoir. Love you guys. Bye.
Au revoir.